Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday evening lesson here on our YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, you're more than welcome to watch our series, 3-semester series here, which are all free to the public, and that might give you a bit of an appetizer on the wisdom of Kabbalah. And if you're interested, you can always join us at Kabbalah.info, where you can join the KABU Academy with like-minded people from all around the world. In the interim, though, we're going to carry on, as usual, with our Tuesday lesson, and we're going to study material from the Congress that was last weekend, and we're going to continue with the purpose of society. This is from Rabash number 2. So we'll go over that Congress material and kind of stay in tune with how we need to progress in the 10, as the name of the Congress suggests, life in the 10. Okay, so purpose of society 2. Since man is created with a kli called self-love, where one does not see that an act will yield self-benefit, one has no fuel to make even the slightest motion. And without annulling self-love, it is impossible to achieve adhesion with the Creator, meaning equivalence of form. And since it is against our nature, we need a society that will form a great force so we can work together on annulling the will to receive, called evil, as it hinders the achievement of the goal for which man was created. For this reason, the society must consist of individuals who unanimously agree that they must achieve it. Then all the individuals become one great force where one can fight against oneself. Since each one is incorporated in everyone else, thus each person is founded on a great desire to achieve the goal, to be integrated in one another. Each person should annul himself before the others. This is done by each seeing the friend's merits and not their faults. But one who thinks that he's a little higher than his friends can no longer unite with them. Also, it is important to remain serious during the assembly so as not to lose the intention, as it is for this aim that they have gathered. And to walk humbly, which is a great thing, one should be accustomed to appear as though. Right, so it looks like we have a technical glitch. Okay, that's okay. We'll just carry on with this one. Doesn't matter. Okay. Also, it is important to remain serious during the assembly so as not to lose the intention, as it is for this aim that they have gathered. And to walk humbly, which is a great thing, one should be accustomed to appear as though one is not serious. But in truth, a fire burns in their hearts. Yet to small people during the assembly, one should be weary of following words and deeds that do not yield the goal of the gathering. That thus they should achieve dvekut with the Creator. And concerning dvekut, which is adhesion, see the essay Matan Torah. But when one is not with one's friends, it is best to show nothing of the intent in one's heart and appear to be like everyone else. This is the meaning of walk humbly with the Lord your God. While there are high interpretations of that, the simple explanation is also a great thing. Hence, it is good that there will be equality among the friends who unite. So one can be annulled before the other, and there should be careful watch in the society, disallowing frivolity, since frivolity ruins everything. But, as we've said above, this should be an internal matter. But when there is someone who's not from this society, no seriousness should be shown, but to equalize externally with the person who has just come in. In other words, avoid speaking of serious matters, but only of things that suit the one who has just entered, who is called an uninvited guest. Right, yeah, as you know, at 8:30 we've got the Zohar lesson. So let's just go over this step by step and see how it pans out. Okay. Purpose of society 2. Since man is created with a kli called self-love, where one does not see that an act will yield self-benefit, one has no fuel to make even the slightest motion. I think we all understand this by now, that we will only do something, anything, right? With the smallest act even, for self-benefit. So we just have to come to the realization and understanding that we cannot do anything if there's no self-benefit. All right, so this is one thing we have to understand. And without annulling self-love, it is impossible to achieve adhesion with the Creator, meaning equivalence of form. So on the one hand, we are 100% self-love. Okay, on the other hand, if we don't annul self-love, we're never going to get in touch with the Creator. Okay, so we have a bit of a drama here, all right? And this is how it's played out. And since it is against our nature, we need a society that will form a great force so we can work together on annulling the will to receive called evil, as it hinders the achievement of the goal for which man was created. Now, if we want to do anything in life which we feel is difficult, and going against our nature is difficult, okay, we're going to need some outside force, right? And that outside force can only be people who want to achieve the same thing as we do, right? So I have to work like in a team. And we have to have the same goal. We need to want the same thing. We need to want to achieve the same, desires, everything. We need to have the same direction. And if we don't have a desire to get it done, we will fail. So in order for me to reach adhesion with the Creator, I need to annul my self-love, like it says here. But because I'm 100% self-love, I've got no capacity to do that. But there's a law of nature. Because we're influenced from the outside, I can do things if I get an influence from the outside. Okay, and that's the whole idea. So if I stick my head into a group of people with the same kind of attitude and the same kind of desires and so on, what they will want to do is give me the force, and I'll want to give them the force. And if we all give each other force, then, well, that's bingo, isn't it? We'll all have a little bit of force to do something. For this reason, the society must consist of individuals who unanimously agree that they must achieve it. Now, this is a must in the group. Everybody has to agree that we have to get this done. Okay, we cannot be half-hearted in this business. Okay, this business requires 100% commitment because we're already 100% committed to our self-benefit. So in order to go against myself, I need at least 100% commitment to go the other way. All right, and that can only be if we are all in agreement. And if some people agree, some people are half-hearted, some people say, well, maybe we can get this done. Maybe we can get this done next year. It's not going to happen, okay? If you think about getting something done tomorrow, you'll never get it done, okay? So as we always say, the best time to do something is now. Then all the individuals become one great force where one can fight against oneself, since each one is incorporated in everyone else. Thus, each person is founded on a great desire to achieve the goal. And this is the whole trick. Okay, so if we all want the same thing, we become a big force which can go against our egoism. Otherwise, we can't go against our egoism. So it's a bit of a problem. But if we're all united, and if we all want to get this done, then our desire becomes stronger. You see, all of us have just a little desire, just a small one. Okay, this is why if all of a sudden we get some big corporeal desire coming our way, everybody will turn their back on spirituality. A little bit of cash on the side, that's it. I'm in the Caribbean and game over. Who needs spirituality? Okay. And why? Because if my desire to receive is always overpowering my spiritual desire, and spirituality means bestowing and loving others, and that's just like, for the ego, it's like death. So it's not going to want to put itself to death. So if we all make an environment where we can all kind of like hang out and we can all enforce or reinforce that dot in the heart, then we can overcome things. So we need to be integrated, all right, to have a big desire. So how are we going to do that? To be integrated in one another, each person should annul himself before the others. So I have to nullify my egoism. Okay. This is done by each seeing the friend's merits and not their faults. Now, this is a bit tricky because it means if I see somebody doing something bad in my eyes, I have to annul myself, which means that I have to see that that evil is in me and not in somebody else. Okay. So if I see you're doing something wrong, I immediately have to think, I have to fix this in me. So I don't want to see the faults of the friends, because if I see the faults in the friends, that will weaken me. So I always have to see the greatness of the friends, how they work hard, how they're great. It's like they're perfect, and all the bad I see is me. Okay. And if I see that, that gives me two good things. One, it begins to show me how bad my egoism is. And if something is bad, I will want to run away from it. Second of all, if I see the friends as great, it allows me to annul myself. And if I annul myself, I can receive the greatness of the attribute of bestowal from the friends. So I get double the benefit. Because if I understand that my ego is bad, I will want to voluntarily run away from it. Okay. It's like you run away from things that cause cancer, right? You don't want to be sticking around in an environment that's going to get you sick. You understand it's bad, so you run away from it. Well, the same thing with our egoism. If I understand it's causing me harm, I don't want to be around it. I don't want to associate myself with it. I want to get rid of it. Okay. I don't want to use it. So this is the only way of doing that. If I see the good side of the friends. Okay. So I just see the good side of everybody. Nothing negative. Okay. Nobody has anything negative, and everybody's just fine. But one who thinks that he's a little higher than his friends can no longer unite with them. That's the whole trick. If all of a sudden I'm flying in the clouds and my nose is going forward before the rest of my body, right? If I'm a little stuck up and looking at everybody from the top, I will not get any force from the group. I will begin to think I'm self-righteous and they are all wrong. Okay? And this will put you back into the same attitude of the 99% of the population who live just like that. All right? And then you won't get anything spiritual. You'll just become self-righteous. You'll turn into some religious freak and probably leave us too. Okay? And this is what you can see often on the outside. When people begin to think that they're better than everybody else, they begin to think that they know more, they know better than everybody else. And that is obviously not going to work out in the wisdom of Kabbalah, is it? So it's important for us to do what? It's important to remain serious during the assembly so as not to lose the intention, as it is for this aim that they have gathered. So when we're together, okay, when we're like we were at the Congress, okay, on the one hand, we had a lot of fun. Everybody was having a good time. Yeah. Okay. But on the other hand, hopefully, we were all very serious in why we're doing the things we're doing. So our intention needs to be very, very serious. Okay. But on the outside, we're like light and easygoing. Why? Because that reduces a lot of stress on the group. Okay. If everybody's giving each other a good feeling, a good vibe, we'll have the power to go forward. Okay. Because we'll be happy by being together. On the other hand, I also want to make sure that I'm here for the right reason. I'm not wasting my life. Okay, because my days are counted, and the last thing we want to do is waste our precious days. So on the one hand, I've got to be nice and lofty. On the other hand, inside, I have to be very serious as to my intentions. And to walk humbly, which is a great thing, one should be accustomed to appear as though he is not serious, but in truth a fire burns in their hearts. Okay, so this is what it means. On the outside, I'm not going to be walking around like I'm some serious dude. On the outside, we're all nice and lofty, friendly, happy chappy. But on the inside, we're very, very serious. You have to understand that this is like you're living two lives at the same time. All right. So you've got like two personalities, what you reflect to the outside and what you are on the inside. Okay. And this is actually a good talent to have anywhere. Okay. It's a good trait. So you're never disclosing what's inside, and people only know you with what's on the outside. All right. It's a good little personality trait to have in corporeality as well. Okay. Yet to small people during the assembly, one should be weary of following words and deeds that do not yield the goal of the gathering, that lest they should achieve the Dwekut with the Creator. And concerning adhesion with the Creator, read Matan Torah. So when we're together, although we're in a light, lofty mood, everything we do must be directed to the goal. All right. So we shouldn't be wasting time doing things that are not getting us closer to where we want to get to. All right. And this is something we all need to remember. So every time we're together as well, like at congresses, right? We have social time and so on. Okay. Even the social times that we have, the rest periods that we have, we should always be using them in a way just directed to the goal so that we don't waste time. Okay. So there should be a time for everything, a time for rest, a time for lessons, a time for social gatherings, but everything must be directed, even when you're resting. Okay, so let's say there's a rest period for us. We go to rest, and the whole idea is the intention is I rest so I can be strong and fresh for the next activity. Okay, so everything needs to be with that thought, with that intention, and inside I should always be aimed in that way. Yet I just read that. But when one is not with one's friends, it is best to show nothing of the intent in one's heart and appear to be like everyone else. All right, so we also have a corporeal life, don't we? We go to work, we've got, I don't know, colleagues, family, friends on the outside that are not studying spirituality with us. So when we're with them, we appear just like them. All right. We're always like a part of the public, a part of the people. You know, we're not up there, we're not down there. We're like always in the middle of the public. Whatever the majority is, that's what we are. Okay. And want to be sticking ourselves into that zone. We're always in that middle zone there. So when we're outside, we don't tell people that we're studying the wisdom of Kabbalah. We don't tell them about our spiritual life and so on. We just don't do that kind of stuff. All right. It's just not us. Outside, you behave like everybody else. This is the meaning of walk humbly with the Lord your God. While there are higher interpretations of that, the simple explanation is also a great thing. The reason we do that is, look, the more you start to talk about your spirituality to other people, first of all, it becomes irritating to other people, right? Because they're not studying. They're not interested in spirituality. So when you start talking to them, explaining to them about spiritual things, first of all, they think you're weird. And it's true, okay? Because you're talking to them about things that they're not really interested in. It's not their concern. Right? The second thing is you begin to think that you're above everybody else. Okay, it's like you're preaching to somebody. And so that is not what we do. Okay, what we want to do is keep our spiritual work among us and keep our corporeal life with the corporeal people in the corporeal reality. So split your life in two and get used to it. Hence, it is good that there will be equality among the friends who unite, so one can be annulled before the other, and they should be careful watching the society disallowing frivolity, since frivolity ruins everything. But as we have said above, this should be an internal matter. So we should have equality among the friends. Okay, so nobody's above nobody. All right, in the group, the friends are all equal. We have to understand that. Okay, it's an important topic. If we don't understand that, we can't be friends. We cannot be a group. So if we have people saying, well, I was here 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and you just came here, not good. All right. We always have to, warmly hug everyone in, integrate them into the society, into the group. And the new guys should always do their best to integrate themselves into the format of the group. Okay. And that could be a little bumpy sometimes, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, what we should all be doing is making sure that the goal is the most important thing for us all the time, all right? That we're here just for one reason and nothing else. Only to attain the purpose of life. And that's all. And if we all hang around in that intention, with that intention, if we do everything, it'll be all good. And this should be our internal attitude. Okay, on the inside, that's how I should be all the time. A strong intention directed towards the purpose of life. And on the outside, like I said, we could be a little nice and lofty with a nice, fat, juicy smile on our faces. All right? And that's about it. But when there's someone who's not from this society, no seriousness should be shown, but to equalize externally with the person who has just come in. Once again, let's say there's two of us studying the wisdom of Kabbalah and we're on a spiritual path. If a third person comes and joins us, let's say a friend from the outside, we don't talk to that third person about Kabbalah. We don't talk to them about spirituality. We talk to them about what they're interested in. So if they're interested in what was on, I don't know, last night on the TV, then that's it. You talk to them about what was on the telly last night. That's all. All right. So these are important things. These will also protect you from being self-righteous. These will keep you, this kind of attitude will keep you modest. Okay. And it will stop you from spilling over to the outside. And that way you can focus on inner work. Because spirituality is all about inner work. All right. Any questions? Great. We're 4 minutes early. All right. Ingrid's asking, how can one defend oneself from evil remarks when studying Kabbalah? Or should one constantly hide it from others? Well, how can one defend oneself from evil remarks when studying Kabbalah? Well, personally, there's two things here. Is the person who's talking to me from the group? Okay. If the person is talking to me or is making evil remarks to me, and it's not, and he or she is not in the group, then personally, we don't care. Personally, we don't care. Why? Because it's not like, well, what do I care what you think? All right. If the person is inside the group, in the 10 or in the group and making bad remarks, evil remarks to us because we're studying, that we need to talk about, look into, and decide whether we want to study with this person or not. Because if we want to be friends, we all need to treat each other nicely and good. Okay. So within the group, we can't tolerate bad behavior. All right. But if it's from the outside, we're like, who cares? Whatever. Just say whatever. Okay. And move on. A lot of people, look, 99% of the people talk, and they always talk about others. You know why? Because they don't have a life. So they try to make their life by talking about others. Unfortunately, that's called 99%. And that 99% of the society will not become anything. Okay? Nothing. Unfortunate, but that's just how it is. Right? And you can see in society, only a very few people are very great, right? Which is like 1%. Okay. Even less than 1%, actually. If you think about it, it's less than 1%. Do you think they care about what 99% of the population think about? No. Most entrepreneurs, when they go to do something, when they set out on a path, everybody around them tells them, that's not doable. You can't do that. That's not possible. They all give you the jazz. Okay. And only the ones who take no crap, they just move forward and they do what they want to do. And then the rest just looks at them. Okay. And that's just how it is. So when people talk, we don't listen much. All right. If it's in the group, though, you got to fix it. You got to fix it because in the group, talking badly about the friends, talking badly behind their backs, giving them a bad attitude, that's a no, no, no. And it needs to be fixed ASAP. So you need to have a chat with your moderator or the head of department or language and make sure you guys fix that problem. All right. Also, to the people on the outside, like the article says, we don't talk about Kabbalah. My family didn't know until years and years after. Nobody knew I was studying whatever because I just didn't have the need to tell anyone. Why tell anyone? It's my own business. This is my life, my personal business. It's my personal path. Nobody needs to know. Okay. So the less you talk about it, the less headaches you'll have. All right. And that's just how it is. All right, we're going to love you and leave you. We've got the Zohar reading tonight at 8:30 as usual. And we'll see you guys hopefully next Tuesday. All the best. Have a good one.